or visit kirbyinsurance.com.
104.7 Mountain Country Weather.
Howdy, folks. Let's take a look at our WVRC Mountain Country AccuWeather forecast. Why don't we? It's Friday all day long. It's the first day of August. Today we'll have a high of 79 degrees and it'll be cloudy. It's a lovely day out there. Tonight we'll have a low of 61 degrees, partly cloudy. Saturday, high of 81 degrees, cloudy early, some sun later. Sunday, high of 83 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Monday, high of 84 degrees, sunny with a few clouds. Tuesday, high of 82 degrees and cloudy. That's a look at your weather forecast on WVRC. It's currently 69 degrees out there, folks, and we're having a good old time indeed. This is Wake Up with Will, folks, and I'm glad you woke up with me this morning. It's been a nice morning so far. I must say, it's been real nice.
Today's best country and all-time favorites. We're Mountain Country 104.7.
And a good afternoon to you all. This is not Will, obviously. You don't hear Will now because I told Will to get out. This is Drew, the boss man here at the station. And you guys know what it means. Anytime I am at the helm and anytime I am on the microphone, I am never, ever, ever alone. And I am super happy to be joined today by the superintendent of Roane County Schools, Miss Michelle Stellato. Thank you for joining me. And let me just say, thank you for joining me in what would probably be such a chaotic and stressful time for a superintendent in general. And, boy, nothing like being thrown into the fire.
That's right. That's where we are right now. But it's great. I'm privileged to have this seat to sit in and to be able to serve the folks of Roane County and to work with the lovely people that I work with every day. It's a privilege. It's a difficult season, but nonetheless, it is a joy to do it.
Well, one of the things that we always try to keep our eyes on is the fact that we're trying to do the best we can for students, and so it's everybody's in this thing together. Everybody's trying to do the right things for everybody, for the kids. So let's talk to you, number one, about where did you come from? How did you end up in Roane County, first of all?
Well, it's kind of a funny story, but so my roots start here. You know, my mom and dad lived in Spencer before I was born. My dad worked for Monarch, or I don't know if it was called Monarch back then. And my mom worked for Hardman's for years, but she worked in the Ripley Hardman's, but that's where our roots come from. And then they moved to Ripley when they moved to Stats Mill, if you know where that is, close to the Roane County line out there. And I grew up there, but moved away, life happened, and I decided I wanted to come back, be close to my dad when my mom passed away. And so I started looking for jobs, and I made the decision then. I was in a place in Morgantown where my kids had paid. I was a superintendent of a school in Morgantown, and my kids had paid for every decision that I made as the boss. And so I said, here's how it's going to work. You guys are going to go. You're going to go to school in Ripley, where we live, and I'm going to find a job in the surrounding area. And at the time, the Spencer Elementary principal position was open, and I applied, and Dr. Duncan gave me a chance, and I met the faculty there and just fell in love. So that's how it started. That was 4 years ago. I transferred to Ripley for a year or two, year and a half, I think, and then got the opportunity to come back as the assistant superintendent and was eager to do so when I did that. If you'll remember, when I departed for Jackson County, the board recognized that the administrators in Roane County weren't paid a fair price at the time, and so they worked hard to get those administrators in line. And so I loved that happened as a result of my departure, and then recognizing we need to do better by our employees. And so then having the opportunity to come back, I was so excited to come back. I loved it here. It felt like home. Tell you a funny story if you want. I always wanted to have a pumpkin patch for my students in Morgantown, but they wouldn't listen to me. And so the first day I get to Spencer Elementary, and I'm kind of looking around, Dr. Duncan had handed me the keys, and he said, help yourself, go over by yourself. And I walk up to the front, and there's a pumpkin patch growing in front of the school. So the story behind it is they had let a pumpkin rot, and so it was actually gourds. I didn't know it at the time because it was July. But I thought, this is my sign that I'm where I'm supposed to be. So been here for 2 years as the assistant, and then applied for this position, and here we are.
Yeah, we're talking with Michelle Stellato, the brand new superintendent of Roane County Schools. So obviously it's good for you to work underneath a superintendent for a couple of years, so you get those feet wet, you figure, and you've been in school systems long enough to know, how things work. But we're in kind of a unique position right now in Roane County, and with a 30,000-foot view, can you tell us kind of how we got here and where we're at right now and where we need to go in the next couple weeks, months, whatever you want to call it?
Sure. I'll throw out my disclaimer that we are really trying to keep our eyes facing forward.
Yeah.
But if you don't look back a little bit, you'll repeat the same issues. So 30,000-foot view, I think we try to keep as many adults working in our school systems as possible. We've tried to keep for years our little schools, our community schools open and thriving, and eventually that just isn't possible. It starts to become, the per pupil spending starts to get out of whack, right? You only get so much, and with being in a county that has failed to pass an excess levy year after year, there's very limited resources for us to work with. I've always lived in counties that have excess resources or excess levies, and I love, as a taxpayer, supporting my schools and being able to get to see them do the extra things like the athletics or the special activities for kids and all of that. But here we just haven't seemed to be able to pull that off yet.
Yeah.
And so given the fact that we don't have an excess levy, the bond levies have been amazingly beneficial for our school district. I know there's some controversy with that right now as well, but nonetheless.
Welcome to the job.
Yeah, well, for sure. We've done wonderful things for kids.
Yeah.
And we can't lose sight of that.
Yeah.
We did wonderful things for children. So, in my opinion, from a large view, we've kept too many employees on for too long. And so we've got to get to the point where we're getting our spending in line with the revenue that's coming in. Our tax dollars.
And so that's where we are right now. Again, we're talking with the brand new superintendent of Roane County Schools, Mrs. Michelle Stellato. Miss. I don't want to mess. I'm going to mess that up.
It's okay.
I should have asked you before we came on the air. Such a rookie mistake by me. So that's where we have come to, and this is where we are now. So there was a big board meeting, obviously, last night, and of course the state has come in and been involved, and so. What is the direction from here as you're looking forward? What is the direction on what needs to be done right away?
So right away, if you've been following along, and I really hope everyone who's listening is following along, because that's what we need. We need informed citizens who know what we're doing and why we're doing the things that we're doing and what is happening, because we are in a dire situation. I've not, it is what it is.
Yeah.
The state Board of Education has declared a state of emergency for Roane County Schools. The finances get a little tight over those spring and summer months because the way that we pull in state aid for students varies throughout the year, and rightfully so, it gets a little tighter in the spring and summer months.
Yeah.
And so we struggled to make payroll twice and had to take an advance on our state aid that will come for this year. So we've kind of borrowed from what we know is coming in advance to help with that cash flow. But we can't do that again.
Yeah.
That's just not an option. So the state board has put us under a state of emergency, and typically you get a 6-month window to right the ship. Now, what folks don't know is there's also timelines and rules about if you have to consolidate or close or change the grade level placement in a school, there are really tight windows to get that done as well.
Not 6 months.
Not 6 months. So a lot of folks are like, well, it's not fair that they only gave us 30 days. Well, it is a very small window, but they understand that we've got to be watched closely.
Yeah.
So we had our work session last night. It was a work session. No action can be taken in a work session. The idea there was that the board would hear the ideas that came out from the leadership team. We met last week. We worked a lot of hours, and I'm so grateful for every single person that's on that leadership team, because we believe that we didn't leave any stone unturned. We talked about this. Well, would this work? Would that work? We ran through a whole scenario, and if you listened to the board meeting last night, we went through those scenarios basically one by one. You can get the recording of that session on our website. And so where we landed and what our recommendation as a leadership team And I started the conversation by saying this is difficult and heavy, and no one's taking this lightly.
Yeah.
But at some point, you have to write your accounting. You do, or we're not going to do justice to our children if we keep doing this. So the recommendation last night coming out of the leadership team is that both Walton and Geary schools would be closed, and that we would begin the process of creating a consolidation plan that would make Spencer Elementary School a K-5 school. Spencer Middle would retain. We also are proposing as a leadership team that we change the names of the schools, right, to be reflective of the county and the fact that we are repurposing these buildings to house county children. So I'm going to keep referring to them as their existing name, but that would be something that comes down the line. And that Roane County High School would remain a 9-12 school. Yeah. To do that, we have to take one grade level out of Spencer Elementary. That would be a little too crowded. Roane County High School was built in the 90s with a child care center in it. And so we've looked at the maps, and with a very little investment or the floor plans, we can turn that back into basically, I keep saying a standalone. It is connected to the building. Yeah. But we would repurpose the area where student support services is currently, and we would put that back as 4 classrooms of early childhood. So they wouldn't mix with the high school students on purpose, or unless we did it on purpose. Yeah. They have their own bathrooms. They have their own exit. We have fenced-in play space areas that we can bring in play equipment and things for them. The buses can pick them up in the back. Yeah. So I'm a preschool teacher by trade. Early childhood is my thing, and I love this. I was in a high school in Morgantown where we had a child care center in the building, and so we did this thing called Mentor Mondays, and the high school kids could sign up to go be read aloud and buddies, and they did art projects, and the kids loved it. I mean, it was just a great feel-good thing that we believe if we continue down this path and do that, that's one light, one positive aspect in a very difficult situation.
Yeah. Again, we're talking with Michelle Stellato, the brand new superintendent of schools here at Roane County. Again, you come in, you get hired as the superintendent, and a lot has fallen on you and your teams, as you said, your leadership teams. But as you said, it is what it is. And so now looking forward, things have to be done, and the sting will be felt, and that is what it is. But as long as the focus remains on the kids and trying to do the best we can for those kids, that in time things are going to start getting better. Things are going to start rolling along. And so that's what's happening immediately, and that's what you guys have on your plate, which is a very, very big deal. At the same time that is happening, it is time for school to start. So tell me about the excitement, the challenges of getting a school year started while all this other stuff is going on.
Sure. So it is a challenge, to say the least. And I keep telling my leadership team we cannot lose sight of the fact that we have to get these schools open and ready for the children that are going to show up on that week in August when everybody comes back. We do have some extra challenges. We had a shift in the high school principal, which led to a change in the Walton principal, and so now that's a current vacancy, and we're working really hard to get that filled. So we still have some personnel openings that we need to get put in place, but again, everyone's picking up that weight. The high school principal's kind of doing double duty to try to make sure that her old school is set to go. We brought in a new administrator, Megan Starcher. She came to us from Clay County. She has experience with small schools, experience with consolidations, and so she's ready, and she's working out there in the Geary community to get that school open. My previous position was curriculum and instruction. I kind of stayed in that lane for the most part, and so now I have someone new taking that role over. So we joke and say that we're all learning new jobs and teaching somebody else our old job, but it's coming together. Yeah. It's happening. We had an amazing summer program. If you haven't followed along with that, I would highly recommend you look at the videos and the pictures from the summer soar. The kids got to go to the pool and the park and all that. So we're coming off a high with all of that energy in the summer. But we are so excited to welcome kids back to the building. And part of this year will be starting to do some of that integration, right? Yeah. To be intentional about the way that we bring kids together from all the outside schools as much as we can, and begin to create this one county, unified approach to doing things. I don't know if you know, but the football teams, the middle school football team, the cheerleading team, and the golf team are shared cooperatives this year, and so we think that's going to be a great opportunity, provide great opportunities for the kids. So it will happen.
We always said that was weird, kids in the county would play midget league together, and then when they went to middle school, they'd separate for 2 or 3 years, and they'd come back together.
Yes.
It's like, man, that's kind of odd. Well, obviously, one thing I know about Roane County, the residents here, the teachers here, the administrators here, everybody bucks up when they need to, and they're going to work very, very hard to get this situation fixed. There'll be hard times. There are hard times, and there'll be stresses, but as long as we keep the main focus, and that is the children of this community and what we're trying to do at Roane County, then I think things are going to work their way through. And it's a long haul. You don't look stressed one bit. You seem like you're well slept.
Looks can be deceiving.
We look forward to talking with you as much as we can over the next few months as this process takes place and as schools get into that routine. And we're looking forward to seeing how you continue to navigate this new job that you have and working with all the other agencies that you have to work with right now. So, Michelle Stellato, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you, and we wish you guys the best of luck at Roane County Schools, 100%.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me, and we'll be back.
Yeah, we'll do it again, folks. That is the new administrator at Roane County Schools, the superintendent, Michelle Stellato. We're going to be talking with her a bunch more over the next months and hopefully for the whole year. She's going to keep us updated and motivated to help our students out. I'm going to step away now. I'm going to give it back to Will. Let's play some music for you guys here at the 12 o'clock hour.